Okay, to and past. It says we use to when we want to point to an exact time before the stated hour. I want you to highlight to and highlight before the stated hour. Very important points. Now the next one says we use past when we want to point to an exact time after the stated hour. So you come here and you highlight past and you highlight after the stated hour. So to is used to refer to before and past is used to refer to after. Okay? Now let's see this timeline illustration. Now this is a timeline, and on the timeline we have 3 p.m. we have 4 p.m. Okay? Between 3 p.m. and 4 p.m. is 1 hour. p.m. indicates afternoon, okay? a.m. indicates morning, early in the morning or morning towards the afternoon time, and p.m. indicates afternoon stroke evening, okay? So 3 p.m. in English is generally considered as sorry, not in English, generally 3 p.m. is considered afternoon and 4 p.m. is considered evening, the beginning of evening time. Now, between this 1 hour, I told you from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. is 1 hour, right? Here, now is before 4 p.m., right? So this is, and here this says this is the 10 minutes mark. So if it's before the 4 p.m., it's going to be 10 minutes to 4, since 2 is used to refer to before the stated hour. So since this is before the stated hour, if the stated hour were, for example, 4 p.m., so that means this time before the stated hour will be 10 minutes to 4. And here it says past is used to refer to after the stated hour. Now, if the stated hour is 4 p.m. here, now this time in this mark on the timeline illustrating now, coming after the stated hour, which is 4 p.m., it will be 10 minutes past 4 p.m. So 10 minutes past 4, 10 minutes to 4. Now, just I promised a lot of you that I was going to use this opportunity to teach you on how to say the time in English language. I remember promising a few of you that during the lesson we had some time in grammar in the classroom. So I'm going to use this opportunity to do that, all right? So a little digression here. I put this diagram here. I tried my best to make it as simplified and self-explanatory as possible. I'm going to just give a brief explanation, okay? Because even though, yeah, it's related to what we're doing here, but with my explanation, I've already done justice to this. But just to take it a step further, if I'll make this as brief as possible. If after this you have any questions on how to tell the time, feel free to ask me and I'll patiently answer your questions, okay? Even though it's not related to this topic, but provided it has to do with telling the time. Now, you see what I've done here? I used the example of the stated hour as in rule 2. The stated hour in this illustration is 4 p.m. So which is why in my diagram, I've used 4 p.m. as the stated hour. So you see this is a clock, right? This is the regular face of the clock that you see, 1, 2, round up till 12. This is the short hand and this is the long hand. All right, I've made the long hand green and I've made the short hand red. Now you see these numbers appearing inside. They represent the hours. Let's put it that way. The numbers inside represent hours, and the numbers I've written outside represent minutes. Minutes. Okay? Now, see what I did here. Past after the hour. So any time from this part of the clock, from 1 to 5, is past. 6 can be included, but 6 has a special name, which is why I'm not including it here. 1 to 5 is past. 7 to 11 is 2. When the long hand is on any of these numbers on this side, you say past. When the long hand is on any of these numbers on this side, you say 2. Okay? Now, see what I've done here. Long hand, which is this green one, is the minute hand. The minute hand. The short hand, which is this red one here, is the hour hand. Okay? And then I said the numbers inside show hours, which are these numbers here, the ones within the clock. The numbers outside show minutes, which are the numbers outside the clock. Now let's see. The short hand is the hour hand, right? And it's pointing at 4. And the long hand is pointing at 12. Once the long hand is at 12, we say it's o'clock. O'clock. Okay? And when the long hand moves from 12 and moves all the way round the clock and comes back to 12, it has completed 1 hour journey. You say it's 1 hour. Okay? The long hand traveling from 12 all the way around back to 12 completes 1 hour. So if the short hand is at 4, which is the hour, telling us which number of hour it is, and the long hand is at 12, you say it's 4 o'clock. And stated hour here is 4. Okay? 4 o'clock. Now, if this long hand travels again, and remember, as the long hand is traveling, the short one is traveling as well. So as this long hand is traveling round, the short hand is moving, but the short hand moves way slower than the long. Okay? Because while the long hand moves all the way round to 12, in that 1 hour, the short hand will just move from 4 to 5. Okay? So if the short hand were to move from 4, were to start moving from 4 to 5, while the long one is moving all the way around, by the time it gets to 12 again and the short hand is at 5, you say it's 5 o'clock. It has completed another hour. Okay? Now let's see. What if the long hand were to be here and the short hand is still at 4? Remember, I told you that long hand is the minute hand, right? And the numbers outside represent minutes. So if the long hand were here, what would you say? 5 minutes past 4. See, the short hand is still at 4. And 4 is the stated hour. But it has moved from the 12 to here. The long hand has moved here. So 5 minutes past 4. If it moves here, 10 minutes past 4. And so on. But if the long hand moves all the way down to here, you say it's half past. Half past 4. Okay? Please take note of that. Now, this is where it gets interesting. If the long hand moves all the way, gets to half past, and continues to 7. Now, remember what I told you, that as the long hand is moving, the short hand is moving as well. But the short hand moves way slower than the long. So by the time the long hand has moved all the way and gotten to here, this short hand would have made its journey almost halfway between 4 and 5. It should be somewhere around here. Okay? It should be somewhere around, pointing around here. Now, if that were to happen, the short hand, I'll just draw it. Just use a pencil to make you understand what I'm saying. If the short hand were to be somewhere, let's say it has moved to this point. Okay? Now, it's in between 4 and 5. And this long hand has moved all the way here. Now, you would say it's, remember, this section is 2, right? So it would be, and this is the minute hand. The long hand is the minute hand. When the minute hand is pointing at 7, you say it's 25 minutes to the hour of 5. If the long hand were here, 20 minutes to the hour of 5. The short hand is still moving slowly and getting to 5, okay? So by the time the long hand travels all the way to here, 5 minutes to the hour of 5. And by the time it hits here, and the short hand is directly facing 5, you say it is 5 o'clock. All right? And remember what I told you. 5 o'clock can either be a.m. or p.m. 5 o'clock can be a.m. if it's in the morning, and it can be p.m. if it's in the evening. All right? If you have any further questions after looking at this, please ask me. Take your time to study this diagram. All right?